Now she understands what they do for a living. Now she understands what they do for a living now. That was an F4.
It's banking northeast. On radar, it all storm, the extremely dangerous. It looks to hit Waukeeta head on. Looks like it directly towards the Waukeeta area.
Yeah. Now, guys, when I watched the movie Twister, okay, Waukeeta's a big town. Everyone did at school. But back in, I don't know, 2008, 2009, Waukeeta, or was it 2010? Back in 08, 09, or 10, Waukeeta got hit by a tornado, so guess what I did? When we had free time, as teacher said, go on the computer, look it up. I'm on the computer, typed in Waukeeta, okay, and guess what? Popped right up, and I was surprised where it was. It's just like small town America. Population's 300, not 500, but still. Waukeeta, Oklahoma, it's like where I live now. It's like Baroque, Michigan, nothing around.
Jump on the 38 exchange and cross Highway 132. I gotta go.
So yeah, guys, I like watching these old news videos because it's so weird how you see what happened, and that's how it changes. Oh, that is so analog-y. So that's what Decatur is, okay? Now, the thing is, guys, I don't know why, but I like the old weather warnings they have on TV because it's cooler. I don't know how to explain it, but it's prettier. It seems on TV it's more better. I don't know why, but on the older TV days, where you're pretty much guessing, guessing what's happening, makes more sense. I mean, like me, I'm a weather guy. Okay, I know weather reports and stuff, but I mean, I like how they go back in the old days when you have analog and snow, gather reports and stuff, which I think is pretty good. Not the word, no offense to the Word Channel guys, but I like when they show the old weather reports on the old TV and stuff, how stuff really happens. That's more what I prefer to see on TV.
It's a very challenging time to be driving anyway, but the advice we are giving you now is that if
now me guys, I do weather reports.
Listening to us by car, pull off at the next available exit along Interstate 459 or
pull into a gas station, head to the freezer. They always say you pull into a gas station. Hey, some people don't even listen to what the people say. They say do not go under highway overpasses. My mom says we do that. I said no, we do not. They changed the rules years ago. I mean, some people still do that. I mean, me personally, I would not do that. So I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, guys. But
near AWAB, see the flashing red at the right by the lightning there. That is a launch. That is a possible tornado in that cell. That storm is moving east. It will move across AWAB and Gunnersville in the next 30 minutes. This is a tornado warning. If you're in AWAB, that cell is just minutes away. You need to be prepared to take cover, and that the radar is indicating a possible tornado in that here. Birmingham next red radar also showing a possible tornado. This is a tornado warning that has been issued.
it's a trail. Now, emergency is what you have to be worried about, guys. Now, me personally, the big one that happened around here was I was in the big one of 01. Okay, we had 3 hit here. I'm used to it. I mean, I made a tornado a couple years ago. I mean,
Lord Chargington requires less routine maintenance than most of the gentlemen.
what the heck? That's a BMW. It looks like shit.
Tornadoes are fascinating. They can be both beautiful and terrifying and
We're a B
tragic
state.
all
We're a
at the
B
same
state.
time. They are definitely, as Rusty from Twister says, the wonder of nature. And what does he mean by that? The wonder of nature. Well, seeing a tornado
It's as bad as
is
a-
like seeing a ghost. There's actually that stereotype that if the tornado sirens go off, people actually run to the porch with their camcorder or smartphone rather than go to the basement. Full disclaimer, you should go to the basement if the tornado sirens are going off. Don't film, go to the basement. But who was the first to go on their porch and film a tornado? In fact, who was the first to take a...
Actually, that's that's a good idea. Well, actually, me personally, I don't need to film a tornado. You know why? Well, listen, people say they film tornadoes with their phone or camcorder. Well, technically, I do exactly the same thing, but I do it smartly. I take my tablet or a camera, put it in the window, and run away. That's what I do. But yeah, that's a good question. Who took the first picture of a tornado ever? That's a good question. Who did? And what year is the question? So we're gonna look that up right now. Now, me personally, guys, I'm not a storm chaser. I don't, I like to film severe weather, but like me, I like to do it in the safety of my own house. I mean, I'm telling outside, today, the camera technology got better stuff, camera technology has got better over the years. Back in the old, since camera technology has got better, and look at this, some people said back in the 1990s they had a tape recorder, they jumped the roof, they taped my tape recorder out and left. Well, me, never did it before. Because one, I'm not chicken per se, but I am a person who likes to know about the weather. Now, I'm just not a crazy person like tornado chasers. But if I was a tornado chaser, I would have a proper vehicle, like a truck. That's why I use my security cameras with the footage. If we had a tornado hit right here, guys, I'd have my tablet or my security. I'd have my security cameras on my tablet record the whole thing. Yeah, that too. Or I'd have the black camera took it apart, but when that weather radio goes off, I get ready because severe weather is bad, guys. Do not I'm gonna tell you now. Do not go under a highway overpass when you look at tornadoes. That's one thing you don't do.
Photo, first painting, first mention. These are all things that we're going to discuss in today's video on the evolution of tornado footage. I haven't got
This looks interesting.
I love my charts.
CGA, so let's see. This is interesting. Seeing something interesting, guy.
Welcome to the channel. Before we get into the video, be sure to subscribe for more tornado content. That's all we do here. Mostly, we do other stuff too. But if you like tornadoes, if you're a tornado nerd like me, you should be subscribed. All right, let's get into the video. Phase 1, early history.
I know we have reports from 1912 the White House getting destroyed by a tornado.
Okay, before we get to
That's
photos
it.
and videos, what is the oldest mention? Well before tornadoes
18
were called tornadoes, they were called...
The first one I can remember is 1812 when the White House got destroyed after the war.
cyclones, before they were called...
I remember 1812.
Mostly, we do other stuff too. But if you like tornadoes, if you're a tornado nerd like me,
I'm gonna put the
you
fan
should
on.
be subscribed. All right, let's get into the video. Phase 1, early history.
Egyptian graphics.
Okay, before we get to photos and videos, what is the oldest mention? Well before tornadoes were called
1812?
tornadoes, they were called cyclones. And before they were called cyclones, they were called whirlwinds. Now,
Shit.
several mentions of whirlwinds in the Hebrew Bible. None of them are specific enough to be definitively what we call a tornado today. Perhaps the earliest depiction of a tornado comes from the famous Greek philosopher Aristotle, who in 350 BC, from a series of books called Meteorologica, or simply Meteorology, Aristotle describes tornadoes as the spiral which descends to the earth, drags with it the cloud which it cannot shake off. It moves things by its wind in the direction in which it is blowing in a straight line, and whirls round by its circular motion and flippantly snatches up whatever it meets. We're talking about tornadoes here. Straight line, destroys everything in its path. Definitely.
Octopus tripod.
Moving ahead about
He's a tripod.
200 years, we come across a man by the name of Pliny the Elder. who, by the way, is like the grandfather of encyclopedias. He said in his book, Historia Naturalis, which translates to natural history, that cloud which floweth water to it as if it were a long pipe. So clearly, he's talking about that basic tornado-shaped keyword long pipe. Now, this wasn't just a tornado, it was specifically a waterspout, which technically isn't a supercell level tornado, but I guess one could choose in the early days. Now, let's move ahead about 1,400 years to Christopher Columbus, who also saw a waterspout during his second voyage in 1495.
Huh.
A lot of the early descriptions of whirlwinds were these waterspouts, because waterspouts are actually pretty common, and obviously water travel was a major part of traveling and all that stuff back in the day. So, you saw a lot of waterspouts. But what about on the ground, legit Oklahoma level tornado? We're talking supercell tornado.
18 to 12?
Well, Machiavelli, who lived between 1469 and 1527, described a tornado crossing Tuscany back in 1532. So
Italy.
it's probably a legit tornado. So we can talk about words and accounts all day long, but let's move on to the first actual depiction of a tornado.
1550.
Can be made for a tapestry, which was part of a larger series of tapestries known as the Conquest of Tunis. This originates way back to 1550. This tapestry features many different weather events, from rain and storms over the Iberian Peninsula. And what do we have here? A great candidate for the first depiction of a tornado. This little cone rope tornado on the left side of this mountain. Pretty sweet. That's a legit tornado right there. So we have definitive proof that by at least 1550, some people were featuring tornadoes in their artwork. Now, that tapestry was dedicated to weather in general and the landscapes in general, and it's huge. What was the first depiction of a tornado dedicated directly to that tornado? Well, about 40 years later, we come across a drawing of a tornado that hit the town of Augsburg, Germany. It's even dated as July 2nd, 1586. It was described as a threatening cloud that was on the ground for an hour and a half, and towards the end of its lifespan, the tail began to sharpen, and then the cloud went back up into the atmosphere. So we have an entire description of the tornado event itself. From 500 years ago, it's pretty freaking sweet. Now we're moving on to phase 2, real images.
1800s.
But before we get to the first photo of a tornado, we gotta talk about some tornado damage photos, because we usually have photos of tornado damage before the actual first photograph of a tornado itself.
Okay.
So I don't know what the specific first tornado damage photo is, but
25?
here's a picture of the aftermath of a tornado in
1870s, Iowa.
It's not the highest quality of photo.
Still 1870s?
Make out some damage. Another early damage photo comes
1878.
from 1878 in Connecticut, and we have many photos from the 1883
Minnesota.
Rochester, Minnesota tornado. Okay, so what's the first photo of a tornado? There's some debate. However, the first tornado photo is indeed the 1826-1884 Garnett, Kansas tornado photo. Now, this photo appears to be of a moderately strength tornado, likely broken out, and it was taken by A.A. Adams. On the back, the description reads, April 25th around 5 p.m. Keep that in mind, April 25th around 5 p.m. However, if you look up oldest tornado photo on the internet, you're going to get a photo of this tornado.
What?
This is an F4 tornado near Howard, South Dakota. And many people talk about this being the first tornado photo. However, this tornado occurred on August 28, 1884. So that's 4 months after the Garnett, Kansas tornado photo. This is a great photo. Obviously, it's a stronger tornado. However, there's no doubt in my mind that the Garnett, Kansas photo is definitely the first tornado photo, assuming the dates are correct. Photos of tornadoes would slowly become more common in the late 19th century. A few examples of early tornado photos would be from July 13th, 1890 in Lake Gervais, Minnesota. Here's another photo of the first tornado photographed in North Dakota in 1895. Here's one in Oklahoma from the same year. And the first Iowa tornado I could find was from 1899 in Kingwood. This depiction of the 1893 Pomeroy, Iowa tornado might be the first example of a multi-vortex tornado, or perhaps a twin tornado. Now, many of us love to Photoshop tornadoes. I mean, I do it for my thumbnails, but a man going by Mr. Connor may have been the first. He would take this photo of a tornado and he would superimpose it onto different backgrounds. Look Look at these 4 photographs. They all feature the exact same tornado. However, this tornado is occurring in 4 different scenarios. So he was probably our first tornado photoshopper. It's the first pretty high quality photo tornado. Well, the first high quality photo that I recorded was from June 1929 in March
1929, Kansas.
You can see the bottom of the tornado tearing up the ground. Great photo for sure. Well, now it's time to move on to phase 3, video.
That's easy. 1930s or
Kind of
20s.
like the Howard, South Dakota tornado, there's actually a few misconceptions out there.
Duh. First video? That makes perfect sense. Why I'm gonna watch that tornado video too, but I mean, that kind of makes sense. We're a B-tier state. I mean, there's footage from 2001 from my tornado that I was in. Stay out. Stay up, you hunk of junk. I don't want to use a different tripod right now. I'm too lazy to use the good tripod on it right now. I want to use this tripod because I'm too lazy to get the good tripod out. These things are. I hate this tripod, but you know what though? I want to be polite and use this tripod. I actually have never used it before. I used it once, and my camera's so damn heavy I can't hold it. And my camera's straight out charging, so yeah.
If you look at oldest tornado video or first tornado video, many people will point to the Corn, Oklahoma tornado in 1951. And here's the footage of that specific tornado. I actually mentioned this as the first tornado video in a previous video of mine. However, the first actual tornado to be filmed comes from the British path, and it appears to be a thin rope tornado in Cuba in 1933. So about 20 years before the Corn, Oklahoma tornado. I will say that the Corn, Oklahoma
Cuba?
tornado is way better quality.
Wait, did you say Cuba?
Back in 1929 in Hartsburg, Kansas. Look, you can even see the bottom of the tornado tearing up the ground. Great photo for sure. Well, now it's time to move on to phase 3, video. Kind of like the Howard, South Dakota tornado, there's actually a few misconceptions out there. If you look at oldest tornado video or first tornado video, many people will point to the Corn, Oklahoma tornado in 1951. And here's the footage of that specific tornado. I actually mentioned this as the first tornado video in a previous video of mine. However, the first actual tornado to be filmed comes from the British path, and it appears to be a thin rope tornado in Cuba in 1933. So about 20 years before the Corn, Oklahoma tornado.
So Cuba, 33.
The Corn, Oklahoma tornado is way
So,
better
almost 100 years ago.
Of an anticyclonic tornado, which means it moves the opposite direction of like 99% of other tornadoes. The earliest tornado featured in a film has to go to the
Wizard of Oz.
It is possible that there was an earlier movie that featured a tornado, however, I could not find one. So if you know of one, be sure to let me know in the comments. But the Wizard of Oz tornado is
1938.
amazing. This tornado was put together by head technician Buddy Gillespie. This tornado footage was so good that it was used in several other films. This includes the film High Barbary from 1947, which out the window uses the exact same footage from the Wizard of Oz. The first depiction of buildings being torn apart has to go to the 1953 Warner Robins Georgia tornado. That tornado video featured heavily on this channel. In the Warner Robins video, you can actually see homes being torn off their foundation. This video was way ahead of its time for how close it is to the actual tornado.
Too dangerous.
For the amount of damage it captures. About 5 years later, we come across the first full-length tornado documentary, which features the entire lifespan of the tornado that hit Dallas, Texas on April 2nd, 1957.
Wow.
At least 10 people lost their lives in this specific tornado. Some of the video of the downtown being hit is very high quality. Moving ahead to the first tornado captured during a live broadcast. On April 3rd, 1964, a large F5 tornado struck the city of Wichita Falls, Texas, a city which is kind of a tornado magnet. This tornado took the lives of 7 people and stayed on the ground for 35 minutes. KAUZ TV6 reported on the tornado from the ground, and this was the first live capture of a tornado. This footage also has an early example of a radar hook echo.
At this time, looking at conditions of situation we had here, I believe, back in the summer of, was it 1959, when Channel 6 made a television first by putting on the air live a tornado.
And finally, we get to the first helicopter footage. I couldn't find the actual video, but the first helicopter footage of a tornado occurred on May 22nd, 1981 by the Ranger 9 helicopter on KWTV in Clinton, Oklahoma.
Okay, I heard that channel
If anyone
before.
knows where this footage is, please let me know because I really want to see it. And finally, we are now in phase 4 of the modern era.
Come on. 1980s and now, the modern era.
As video camcorders became more readily available in the 1980s and 90s, we start to see a lot more tornado footage, especially when it comes to amateur video. So bringing it back to the intro of this video, who really was the first person to go film a tornado rather than go to the basement? Well, sources say that Ted Rubble from Kalamazoo, Michigan, filmed the first amateur video of a tornado with his camcorder on May 13th, 1980. He stepped outside of the camcorder store,
I heard of him.
turned his camera, and filmed the tornado drop from the sky.
I know.
So
Oh yeah, I know what it
this
is.
was the first amateur video. Home videos of tornadoes became.
I know that's at because I live outside Kalamazoo.
I want to mention a few notable examples of classic home tornado videos. Perhaps the most famous.
Wait, are you?
This is the 1991 Andover McConnell Air Force Base footage. This video is absolutely ridiculous. Seriously, the trailer goes right in front of them. It's just insane. Another classic home video is the 19.
Wait, I live in Michigan, so I heard. Wait. Oh yeah, I heard of him. Guys, I live outside of Kalamazoo, like 20 miles from here.
This video features some very famous quotes.
I'm from Kalamazoo, so I actually heard that. I'm going to put this back a little bit.
During a live broadcast.
Okay, I'm not too far, but I don't care. But I live. Kalamazoo's just down the road from here, like 20 miles up the road. Oh, right there. Just scratch my nut. I'm not gonna do that right now.
This
Cats are
video
still
took
there.
the lives of 7 people and stayed on the ground for
Exactly
45
1980.
minutes.
So we own that.
KUZ TV put on the tornado from the ground, and this was the first live capture of a tornado. This footage also has an early example of a radar hook echo.
At this time, little
I remember
reminiscence of a situation we had here, I believe, back in the summer of, was it 1959, when Channel 6 made a television first by putting on the air live a tornado.
And finally, we get to the first helicopter footage. I couldn't find the actual video,
1980s.
but the first helicopter footage of a tornado occurred on May 22nd, 1981 by the Ranger 9 helicopter on KWTV in Clinton, Oklahoma. If anyone knows where this footage is, please let me know because I really want to see it. And finally, we are now in phase 4 of the modern era.
So the 80s today you can get a camcorder.
As video camcorders became more readily
camera
available
recorders,
in the
myself.
1980s and 90s, we start to see a lot more tornado footage, especially when it comes to amateur video. So bringing it back
Kalamazoo.
to the intro of this video, who really was the first person to go
Me!
from a tornado
Kalamazoo,
rather
Michigan.
than go to the basement? Well, sources say that Ted Rubble from Kalamazoo, Michigan, filmed the first amateur video of a tornado with his camcorder on May 13th,
He's a little kid.
1980.
Oh, I know where
He
it's
stepped
at.
outside of the
I've been there.
camcorder store and turned his camera.
Oh, I know where it's at. I know where Kalamazoo that is.
From the sky. So
Been
this
there.
was the first amateur video. Home videos of tornadoes became way more common throughout the 80s and the 90s. I want to mention a few notable examples of classic home tornado
I know it's at
videos.
Kalamazoo.
Perhaps the most famous is the 1991 Andover McConnell Air Force Base
Yep.
footage.
Yep, seen it.
This video is absolutely ridiculous. Seriously, the trailer goes right in front of them. It's just insane. Another classic home video is the 1991 Gulf Lake, Minnesota tornado video.
There's
This
it.
video features some very famous quotes.
Give her the windows. Give her the windows. Idiots.
Favorite home video might
June.
be the 1998 Columbus, Nebraska tornado footage, which is just amazing. I love the quality. It looks scary beyond belief. A great piece of footage.
Uploading videos right now to YouTube, guys, and just
Older tornado videos just kind of have a weird eeriness to them that I really enjoy. By the way, links for all these videos are in the description. Moving ahead in the evolution of tornado footage, we enter what I call the Discovery Storm Chasers era. This is my childhood right here. This is where
Nope.
we see the birth of celebrity
I had
storm
analog
chasers,
TV, so I couldn't watch
Reed
it.
Timmer, Sean Casey, and Tim Samaras. While filming and learning about tornadoes was the main goal of the Discovery Storm Chasing teams, there was a huge effort towards intercepting a tornado, aka capturing footage from inside a tornado. There were a few methods, one being a satellite dome camera left behind in the path, the other method being riding out the storm inside a tornado intercept vehicle. Sean Casey made great effort in intercepting the storm with his TID-2, and he was finally successful on May 27, 2013, when the TID-2 filmed the inside of a tornado in Kansas. Reed Timmer was able to film the inside of a tornado in Aurora, Nebraska on June 17, 2009. There's also a few other early examples. Many have become well known from capturing tornadoes and uploading them to YouTube.
Today, now we have GoPros today.
Perhaps the best example is Picos Hank, and I'm sure you've all heard of him. He's
Nope.
the GOAT tornado YouTuber.
No. But the thing is, I'll tell you guys. Today now, since today we got GoPros now, we can actually now put a GoPro in a box and let it get hit by a tornado. But come on, people now use these cameras, use these cheap GoPros, put a satellite tracker with them, go up in the air and it'll go kaboom. If I had proper GoPros that worked, and I knew a tornado was coming, I would put one of these in a tornado path, put a tracker in there, and poof, use it. But I'm just an amateur, so I wouldn't risk hurting myself. I'll stick with my security cameras.
As well as Ryan Hall, y'all.
Yep, see him.
Tornado forecasting rather than tornado chasing.
He does both.
Tornado videos are becoming more and more common since people have smartphones and they carry a camera with them everywhere they go. So we're getting a lot more tornado videos from places like Europe and Asia. We've also entered the era of
Hi.
drones. Reed Timmer has captured a lot of great tornado footage using a drone, as well as this YouTuber known as More Pie. Still hoping for that
His car blew up.
drone intercept footage, so keep an eye out for that. Well, there you have it. That's the evolution.
I mean,
of
the drones,
tornadoes.
it makes it easier for everyone to get.
Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.
Yep, I remember him now. But technically, guys, old tornado footage, TV, YouTube. I'm not watching you. The thing is, though, guys, I think with us having proper technology these days, we can do everything. Okay, I'm gonna watch some of these and see what happens. So this is 99. This is 1990. F5, 1990. Okay. Ooh, I'm gonna have to cut the feed off. Charge your phone up.